All right, how's everybody doing? Man, that was fun. Let me get situated here where I can see and chat to everybody. All right, got to get a little situated here with my camera. All right, there we go. I think that's better. How's everybody tonight? We got a lot of people in the chat here. Let me see. Let me get refreshed over there. Running kind of crazy. That was a little different intro than usual, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, let me get situated over here and let's see who we got. Excuse me. Let me get. All right, let me scroll up to the top here. See who we got tonight. We have Graphite and Cigars. Welcome in, buddy. Patty Dill, nice to see you. Got Ryan Hall here. Good to see you, brother. Mr. Mick, good to see you in. Let's see. We have Tim Thomas. Hey now. Thomas Santiago, welcome in. Six Fingered, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Let's see. We have Janice Lala. Welcome in, Janice. John DeShane made it in for the start. Glad you got to catch that. Let's see who else we have here. Let's see. Mike Olson, how's it going, dude? Good to see you. We have, I think I caught Ryan Hall already. If not, hello, Ryan Hall. Let's see. Alonzo, good to see you. Dan Gorman, what's going on, man? We have Bryce Regal, good to see you in. Let's see, who else? Man, you guys are just chatting it up tonight. Let's see. Rob Blackmore Official, good to see you in. You should have a link if you want to jump in. Let's see, we have R2R3 has made it into the chat. Welcome, brother. We have, let's see. Still going. Who we got here? Fruitcake Tony, good to see you. Enjoyed your show last night. It's funny with the second trivia question you had. I actually had tuned up. Let's see if I can get out of the way here where you can see this Friedman T-style guitar that I have right there. I actually had just recently tuned that to the Top Jimmy tuning, so I kind of had a little in on that trivia question that you had there. So that was a lot of fun. Great show last night. I enjoyed myself. Learned some about Floyd. So everybody check out Fruitcake Tony's channel. Give him a sub and check him out. Let's see who else we got in here. Hip Metal Works. Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. Johnny Bean. How's it going? Good to see you, brother. Probably see you a little later, maybe on Laz's show. Laz is going on at 10:30 Eastern. I think 7:30 Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll make sure that everybody heads over there and checks out Laz's show tonight. No telling what he's doing. I think he's doing something with a delay pedal, the Halo pedal, possibly. Let's see who else we got. I think we've caught everybody. Yeah, man. You're very welcome. So I think that we're caught up with the people in the chat. Hello to everybody. If I missed you, sorry. I'll catch you in the chat in a little bit. Let's see. Oh, you're going to be running his show? You're the executive producer? That's cool. I'll be sure to stop in and say, hey. Hey, we got Dan of New Jersey joining in. Welcome in. Good to see you. All right. Well, that was a lot of work at the beginning there. I'm out of breath and wore out. Man, that was fun, though. Hopefully you guys like that. How'd you like that kind of a ambient, kind of off-the-wall thing there? So maybe you guys enjoyed that. Oh, we got somebody at the door. Let's see who we got. We have Mr. R2R3.
How we doing, man?
We're doing good. Welcome in. What you been up to? Oh, we lost your mic. I think that was sign language for 1 second. So while he's getting that situated, let's see. Let me scroll down here, make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Nope, looks like we got everybody. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I decided to play the custom with the TransTrem on it tonight. I may switch over to the GL2T a little bit later, but yeah, this is fresh off of its rebuild, so I haven't really played it much. So I figured it'd be a good time to break it out and strum some strings on this one. See how we did. There he is.
All right.
All fixed up. We got you now. So, how's your day been? What you been up to?
All right, not much, man. Went to work today. Not a bad day. We're getting some snow over here in Chicago. It's coming. But
we had a little cooler day today, but we just got a little rain. So, of course, it hardly ever snows here.
That's where I need to go. Somewhere where there's no snow.
Right? Just slowly start migrating down towards Florida, I guess. As we get closer to retirement age, right? Let me check out. I saw something here out of the corner of my eyes. Good stuff. Heard a little sorrow. Yeah, a little bit of that. And a freak out pedal. Nope. Didn't have any pedals. The only thing that you heard was me adding in the extra delay on the front. So that's my cathedral settings. So that gave kind of an ambient kind of tone there. So
freak out pedals that where you can kind of sustain the note out, right? Was it?
Oh, is that what that is? No, this guitar has the Fernandez sustainer in it. So I switched to that there at the end.
Oh,
so
you don't need no stinking pedals.
No, I don't need no pedals. It's funny because I literally have no pedals here. I need to hook up my my Phase 90, my flanger. I've got an EVH wah. I just been digging this tone that I get just out of the rack gear that I just haven't had it as a priority to get it all hooked up. But eventually I will.
Straight through.
Well, yeah, as much as you can call a wet dry wet rig straight through. Got tone.
I've got tone there.
For sure. So we got somebody else. We have from the great White North. Man, I can't talk tonight. We have Mr. Rob Blackmore official. How's it going, dude?
Hey guys.
What's happening,
up?
Man?
What is up?
Not too much.
How you doing with that D tuna on that Wolfgang? I know you were finally happy to get that in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that.
I got it in, and I got to put on.
Okay.
But I ran into a little problem.
Uh-oh.
I went to put the 10 to 46s on, and it kept raising up in the back.
Had to tighten up your claws.
Yeah, my first attempt at trying putting strings on this, I had to end up taking the 1046s and turfing them to the garbage.
Uh-oh.
But no avail. I went on to Amazon, and they actually had the 9 to 46s. So I ordered a pair of those, and they should be in the next couple of days.
Okay.
And
so you're stringless. You're naked at the moment.
Well, I'm just glad I don't have the albatross pedal.
Oh man.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
Well,
No worries,
if you did have the albatross pedal, at least you could make some kind of noise with the thing.
Well, I got a 10-pound sledge in the basement.
Well, you know what's better than that?
I was just going to say that. Take it around back behind the shed.
Take it out back behind the woodshed. Yep.
Well, in the next couple of weeks, I'm not gonna come right out and say, but I may have a surprise.
Okay. Surprises are good. Any kind of hints or inklings of what it could be?
An albatross pedal. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Well, some people
Is it a
say
pedal?
it may fly.
It may fly. Okay.
It may fly.
That could be an albatross pedal. He could be psyching us out. He really loves it. He's got one on order.
Yeah.
So he'll be plugging that in. Johnny says he picked up the EVH chorus yesterday. I saw that you were over at Flying Pickle Productions and you were testing that out. I'm not sure where I was when I was watching a bit of that, but I know that I was busy, so I wasn't able to watch all of it. So what did you think of the pedal, Johnny? Oh yeah.
Fresh in the box.
Fresh in the box. You just got one as well, or you've had it for a little while?
Oh, I've had this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I had it since it came out. Oh yeah.
Now, do you find that does a pretty good approximation of like a detune tone, or it's more of like
it's a distinctive recreation of what is it? The Roland chorus that Eddie used.
Okay.
So if you're looking for diver down tones,
Mm-hmm.
it's in this box right here.
So
sure.
they could have just called it the Pretty Woman pedal.
Yeah. But I see what they're trying to do here with the colors. This is the Wolfgang, his bass that he would use. That's the stripes and the color he used in this.
Gotcha.
So I think he used this pedal a lot for his bass. But yeah, it's a cool pedal. If you want to use it for diver down tones, it's excellent. One thing I did notice, I don't use it that much. I'm the kind of guy that I only keep the pedals that I need to use all the time on my pedal board.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to use them just every once in a while randomly, I'll just plug them in, use them, record if I have to, or play, and then just take it off.
Yeah.
This one I just put back in the box. But there's something about this pedal when you put it in front of the amp. If you plug it in, hit the switch, turn down the setting, it's really weird because you really don't have too much settings to play with. You find a sweet spot in there and you just leave it. It's perfect. But when you turn it all the way down, when you turn it off, you feel like there's something missing.
You notice that it's gone. Yeah.
You notice that it's gone. So it's almost like you almost want to leave it on there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So some individuals I've heard, they just keep it on in the front of the amp and they leave it on, set it real low, and that's it.
Yep.
And
that's really similar to like when I turn the Eventide off. It sounds great. The delays and everything sound great, but when you turn it off, it's like, oh no, there's something missing now. And you turn it back on and it just gets huge. So
yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
Surround sound is gone. Yeah,
it just
sure.
it adds that little extra fatness to it. So I get what you're saying on that. What else you got going on, Rob? Just waiting on the strings.
Just waiting on the strings to be here in the next couple days. I think this time, if they actually allow me, if they don't make me leave the guitar and wait for the string change, because there's probably other guitars that are in queue, I'd like to actually sit in on when the guy changes the strings to see how, I think what my oops was that I didn't, when I took the cavity off for the springs, I think what it was is where I didn't block off the trem. I had to get a piece of wood or something to block that trem off. So, because when I was going back and forth adjusting it, it seemed like the screws on the claw were almost at its end.
Interesting. How many springs are on the claw?
Yeah, I was just going to ask how many springs.
There's only 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may need to just add another spring on there.
Add another spring in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Typically, what I do,
kind of balance it back out. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you add that extra spring, so I guess what was happening is your bridge was going.
Mm-hmm.
As I was trying to tune the strings, as I was trying to tighten the tuning posts, it was just like it was completely flat. Like you couldn't get it more flatter. Like when I put the strings on, and before I start even, I just give a little tune on each peg. Like when I showed it before, the whale tail was kind of like a little bit like this. When I put the strings on just a little tight, like you said, you got to have it completely even and flat. And I raised it up maybe half of an inch, not even, and then sat there for a couple minutes to try to tune it. I look across, and the bridge was like this. There was like maybe this much space between the flat top of the body and the back of the trem. And I was like, oh no, that can't happen.
Yeah, so you just basically, you have to tighten up the claw inwards, because when I have floating trems that you can pull up on the bar, they don't sit on the body. So if you change gauges strings, I use 10s, but if you had 9s on there and now you're using 10s, you're now creating more tension, and that bridge is going to start pulling up. So then you got to pretty much go behind the back, screw in the screws a little bit to kind of pull the bridge back down. You're going to have to tune down a little bit, turn it back to pitch. You're basically finding that balance, because when you have a floating bridge, that's what's happening. You want to be able to be parallel to the body. So you're basically screwing in those claws. What sometimes winds up happening is you can turn in those screws all the way to the right to the block of it. And then that's when you have to add springs. That's how you know how many springs you need to add. If you need 2 springs, 3 springs, because I know some people put 4 or 5, whatever, just to, they don't want that bridge. They want it to sit flat on the body, and they don't want to really dive on it. They want it for stability. Break a string, it stays in pitch. But I think what wound up happening with yours is that you were using higher tension strings, and it started pulling, and so you just needed to kind of pull the claw in, screw it in a little bit more to have it just kind of.
And it depends on how strong the springs are that are in there. You know, there's different tension of springs too, so you can get some tighter springs. Typically, what I would do when I'm setting up a new guitar to me, if I change, to 10s and you've got what you have happening, is I would tighten the claw like all the way that I could, get as much tension on it so that it would hold it firmly down against the body of the guitar. And then go ahead and get the strings on, tune it to pitch, and as long as it didn't move, I knew that I was pretty good. I could start adjusting from there. So what I would do then is I would take as much tension off of the springs as I could by usually coming to like the 14th fret and doing a 2-step bend right here on the G string. And then I would do that until the trim just barely started to lift from that 2-step bend. And then you know that you've got just the right tension, that it's just barely starting to come up with that type of a bend on it. That way, when you hit the bar, it doesn't feel like it's a concrete brick. You've got as least amount of tension that you need on it. And that's how I set mine up. So your mileage may vary, but that's how I do it.
Yeah, because the springs on that, they look like maybe just another gauge up from the ones that are on the Marietta.
Gotcha.
And Rob, I wanted to tell you too, since I'll use this as an example. When you get your springs, make sure that this low E fine tuner is all the way up.
Oh yeah,
like it's
that's what I done when I took the strings off. I didn't take them all off at once. I took the low E off. I took the pin out. Like I backed that fine tuner all the way off for the low E.
Make sure it's out.
Then I just took the pin out, measured it up to see what size pin it was with the new detuner kit. Took the new pin, spring on, pin and spring into the detuner, put it back into the saddle, screwed it in and out where it wouldn't push the block forward, and just basically clip that ball end off, put it in, make sure it goes across the top of the saddle into its proper space, and the Allen key, and tighten that bolt up, and just go up and measure outside the string tree. Measure, I know it's the first tuning post there. You measure to the second tuning post, maybe just an inch past the second tuning post. Nip it there, put it into the first tuning post, and just hold up on, give it a little tiny tune, and proceed forward from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may be beneficial, like you said, once you get the strings put on, that you're there and watching the guy, so you can pick up some tips and tricks. But yeah, I mean, it's there's some little tricks that I've learned over the years, and a lot of people are afraid of the Floyds, especially the floating ones. Because of getting that tension just right. But
I love
yeah,
it.
It's the same kind of deal with a floating one. You just block it where you want it, tighten those springs,
Tune it,
and then tune it.
And then you start tuning, and then you'll know if you're floating up, down,
and
if it
doesn't move after you tune it, and then you pull your block out, and it pulls it down, then you start releasing tension until you get right back where you were, and that's it for a floating Floyd. Pretty simple. I saw some new faces coming in. I think Stephen Franklin has just come in. What's going on, Mr. Franklin?
What's up, man?
Holly Lewis, I think she's just come in. How's it going, Holly? Let's see. Was there anybody else? Let's see. Thought I saw one more new face here. Who was it?
You see Alonzo's? Yeah, you were sitting
over. Yeah, I had Alonzo. Dan of New
Mike
Jersey.
Olson.
We caught him. Let's see. Dwight Bailey. How's it going, dude?
Hey, Dwight.
Let's see. Keith Campbell. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Welcome in.
Keith! Cheers. That was a good show last night.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Those fellas, man.
I
learned a lot.
Let's see. Who else did I see? I saw somebody. There we go. There's Half Ace. Welcome in.
Half Ace, what's up, man?
And I'm pretty sure there he is. I saw the Axe. How's it going, the Axe? Welcome. Good to have you in. Was there anybody else? Let me scroll here. ET5150. Thanks for joining in tonight. Good to see you. Let's see. Holly Lewis with the happy little clouds. Did you catch the happy little TransTrem at the beginning of the show, Holly? Nah, good to see everybody in here. So what else is up, dudes?
Well, since we're on the topic of bridges, sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got the got tone shirt. I was just going to tell Rob if he has any issues of Floyd's D-Tuna, go to his website or go to his channel here on YouTube. He has some updated videos. He has old videos and updated videos and how to properly adjust the FU tone saddles, the screws, the D-Tuna. A lot of helpful hints. It may help you out in the struggles that you may, if you get frustrated with the Floyd or anything. He makes just things simple and easy. I'm not endorsed or I don't get paid by him, but I do promote his channel because he's got some good products. I love his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I saw some videos where he talked about exactly what I had just talked about, setting up a floating Floyd and, a block Floyd and all that. So some pretty good stuff on there.
Absolutely.
Well, when I ordered the D-Tuna, I ordered it through Amazon. And usually here in Canada, with Amazon, they try to pick like a local music store to get the product from, get it to them, and then get it to you.
Yeah.
If I go to Long McQuaid here in Cape Breton, you think like with all the other guitars that have Floyd Rose trems on it, and or the EVH product, they would have that in store. Like if something happens, you can go to the store, pick it up. I paid $83.87 for the D-Tuna. It came all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona, all the way to Ontario, and all the way to me.
Wow.
Yeah, but the cool thing was the company that they got it from, these guys here.
Don't they make those little red cups too?
They they threw in a black pick and a red pick, and then they threw in like they have a website, and if you're looking at it, it's kind of like Stagatsu.
Mm-hmm.
www.sologuitars.com/wiring diagrams. These guys here.
Hey, now we're not sponsored by. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sponsoring. I don't work for them. I'm just relaying a message. I had a quick look at their website. They have some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. That I mean, I know that you're talking Canadian dollars. That seems kind of pricey. 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, go to
$85.
go to the VanHalenStore.com. That's where I get a lot of my picks, gear, T-shirts, anything Van Halen. $39.95.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
American.
know what the conversion is, but I usually figure $1.25 for Canadian.
For all the tunas there, the blue, purple, red, gold, silver, black.
Yeah, it's like I was looking at that same site there, R2, and I was looking at the T-shirts they have, with the black, white, red, and striped shirts. They're showing them for $39.99, and I just did like a mock order one time to actually see what the pricing would that be if I ordered it here. It's $39.99 on their website. If I was to order it here, I'd have to pay $59.99.
I guess the taxes coming into Canada and the shipping.
It's
and all
crazy.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Excuse me. Got a question that I saw here in the chat. Where'd that go? Here's a statement from Six Fingers. It says, I don't understand all the issues people have with Floyds. They're straightforward, but maybe that's because I'm an engineer. Yeah, it helps to have a little bit of a mechanical background, I guess. Janice says they're too complicated for her. Somebody had asked a question. Let me find that real quick. Let's see. I could have swore somebody said if you prefer floating or flush. I can't find that now. But
I started off with floating. I mean, my 91 USA Jackson Rhodes was floating. What was YouTube back then? Nowhere. No one taught me how to use it. I had to figure it out myself, but
yep.
I kind of pretty much figured out that what the springs were doing as far as floating. When I realized that when you change string gauges, go from 9s to 10s to 11s, that you had to basically do this balancing act with the claw on the back, pull it,
yep.
Release the tension, find the level where it should be. That way you can pull up, pull down. That way, the guitars that were top mounted, my first one was a Charvel, and it wasn't flush with the body. They recreated it to be something like back in the 80s, where you were able to maybe pull it up just a little bit, about a tone up, and to do as far as floating. I kind of like that little flutter effect that you can kind of hit the bar and get that sound.
Yeah.
My first guitars that were flush to the body were the Wolfgangs. And it took me a while to get used to that. You know why? Because every time I would want to pull up, I always caught myself pulling up on the bar to do like a dime bag or a buy whammy trick. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to break this bar off if I keep on doing this.
Yeah, I have always preferred them blocked or flush to the body, actually. I don't have any floating Floyds, so if I need to do any pull-up stuff, I'll use a guitar with a TransTrem on it. TransTrem Thursday. So, let's see. Get to some of these comments. The Axe says he was always intimidated by Floyd Rose until he took a few apart. Yep. And that's, I don't know if any of you, how many of you caught the rebuild that I did on the TransTrem, but I was kind of the same way. I'm like, man, I'm a little intimidated, but how difficult can it be? Jump right in and do it. get your hands on it, take it apart, and see it. And a lot of times it makes more sense. Stephen Franklin said the Floyds are not bad to set up. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, considering it was my first time ever changing strings on a Floyd Rose, I think to myself, I didn't do pretty bad. Now I know, like, for next time.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, that's, the best way to learn is jump in and do it. You mess it up, that's a lesson learned, right? Alonzo says, I own 2 guitars with a Floyd, one floating and one flush with the body, and haven't had a hard time with them. Love them. Graphite and cigars. Problem I see most people take all the strings off, and when that trim drops, they go, oh, shit. That's about the time that you're like so frustrated that you're ready to... The Axe says, remember the first time I tried to change strings on a floating Floyd back in the 80s, it took me all day. Yep, same here. I had a Jackson, what was it, a Soloist Pro? It was a neck through, and it had a floating Floyd. And first time I tried to change the strings on that, I had a very similar experience to what you did, Rob. So, yeah, I don't feel bad about it.
You live, you learn.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, you went one too. Did you see the 04 PV Wolfgang made for Ed to tour with for sale on Reverb? The one pickup. Yep, I did see that. Those kind of ads, a lot of times, I take them with a grain of salt. You don't know how much truth there is to any of that stuff, unless there's some type of a documentation or proof of that. But yeah, I did see it. It's a nice looking guitar for sure. PV had a custom shop for a while, so who's to say it's not just somebody that had a custom shop one built and said, yeah, this was built for Ed, I guess I'm a little pessimistic that way. Edwin Crane, you are a great guitarist. You shocked me quite a few times. I don't know who you're talking to, but whoever it is. Oh, R2, R3? Oh, there we go, at R2. You just got to compliment R2, R3. Let's see. Ryan Hall, 1985 Kramer Floyd. Never had any main issues with it. Newer ones, 90s, not the same. I find the newer ones, a little more issues with the fine tuners not being as exact. Having a little trouble getting those in and out. Yeah, Keith says take one apart, see how everything interacts for sure. Great learning experience. Holly says, I learned so much watching you dismantle the TransTrem. You're welcome, Holly. I learned a bunch, and I wanted to share it with everybody, so hopefully everybody got a little bit out of it. Let's see. I want a Floyd Rose to hang on my wall as art. Pretty good idea. Let's see.
Look at this thing. $6,000 for this PV Wolfgang.
Mm-hmm. Things are getting pricey.
Oh, man.
Everything going up in value. Everything's worth what somebody will pay for it. So.
Did you happen to catch the price of that one that Johnny was playing?
The $4,000 Stealth.
I was like, wow.
That's right there.
Like that?
Yeah.
That's the one.
That would be. I couldn't tell if that was actually a Stealth he was playing or if it was the Stealth Gray that he was playing.
Oh, it was a Stealth. Yeah.
Was it the same black satin?
Yeah.
Same black hardware.
This is first year that they made the Stealth. I got this first year it came out. So I've had this one for a while.
We're doing a little comparison live show one time. I think I like the tone off of that one.
Mm-hmm. That one is a bit darker, but it's got really, really good consistent tone throughout. Most of the other Wolfgangs I've got are just a little bit brighter. But yeah, it seems to be that, I've had that one probably the longest. So I kind of gravitate to it when I go to, play something or record something. A lot of the shorts I've been trying to do different guitars in each one. So
speaking of shorts, I know you were playing that one. Didn't you release one today?
I did. I did a little right here, right now kind of intro thing for today. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I've
Graphite, yeah.
kind of off topic, off subject here. I've been noticing that something with the YouTube algorithm on the shorts lately. Have you been noticing that as well? Like it doesn't seem to present your stuff into the shorts for several hours until after you've posted it. Used to be it was right away. You know, you
Right
get
away.
that out there. But
I noticed that a couple
I know.
times too with where I'm on Instagram too. When you go to post to your story, like there's a couple ones that I posted to my story on Instagram. Are y'all familiar with the app you get for your phone? It's for Android. It's called Zedge, where you can pick out a background and set it as your wallpaper on your lock screen or your home screen,
I
and you
have
pick
heard
out
of that.
notification sounds or ringtones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was over on the Zedge app, and I just typed in Van Halen, and I got the red, white, and black stripes like behind you are too, and it saves to your phone when you apply it as a wallpaper. So when you go over to Instagram and you go to post something in your story, you go into as if you're posting a picture in your story. You would select that, and then up the top it looks like a little square sticker with a smiley face on it. You touch on that and you look through it, and it looks like there's a little circle on top of a little circle with a plus in it. If you touch that, it allows you to select another picture. So if I go in and I select that Van Halen background, I'll go into that little sticker thing and press on the little circle on circle with the plus in it, and it allows you to select another picture. And I'll select like Eddie, for example, and it goes back to the Van Halen stripes, and it shows just like if you tossed a photograph on the tabletop, and you can tap on it, touch on it, it'll change different shapes. It'll leave it like a square picture, or it'll round out the corners on it, change it to a heart, a star, whatever, and just put it there, maximize it or minimize it just by simply doing this on the screen on that picture. And then if you want to throw effects on it, the effects don't go on the picture, save Eddie. It'll go on the background. So I could put the background, I could put like a flame effect, a flame filter over it. It looks like the stripes are on fire in behind,
cool.
kind of making the picture pop, and then set some music to it, and away you go.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a pretty cool app.
Yeah.
I want to know how Ryan did the. I know we were messing around with the customized self Funko Pop.
Mm-hmm.
But, Ryan over here put the Funko Pop with the Wolfgang.
Well, you know, that's some graphic editing that I do. Let me go back to that. I forgot that I had that up as the background here.
That's really cool.
I saw that.
Let me
I love it.
let me pull this back down.
There it is.
Yeah, I just one of these little, you know, like little icons along the bottom. I've got PNG files of those guitars. So whatever you put them over, there's no background on it. So I just put one in there and resized it and got him right on there. Actually, the little Funko thing that I did, I also pulled the EVH logo and put that down on the shirt.
The logo
on the hat.
there, like.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. You know, Johnny was talking about going and getting the Funko Pop of himself in was it Hollywood he was going to? So I think you jumped online R2R3, and I did as well. I went to the site to see if there was something around, but they allow you to make like a little avatar of yourself, and I don't know. I think it, you know, came out pretty close. I mean, my head obviously is not that wide. At least I don't think
Sending each other
it
the
is.
photos of our own
Yeah.
Funko Pop.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Goodness. Let me get this. And let's see. There we go.
Change up your little picture icon for YouTube, where you guys see me in the chat and you see me standing in the picture with me standing there with the Wolfgang. Everybody make up a Funko Pop like Brian and change their picture, and then when everybody jumps into Johnny's chat, he'll be seeing little Funko Pops go up the side of the chat.
Yeah. I saw something here. Here it is. Keith Campbell said that he is waiting on confirmation from Jim DeCola on that PV Wolf. So you've actually submitted a question about it to see if it's legit, I'm assuming is what you're saying. That would be cool information. Once you find out, let us know. Let's see. Janice says, I don't know if it's a reliable source. I guess you guys are talking about that Wolfgang still. Let's see. What else is happening in the chat? Yeah, graphite and cigars. Keep turning myself into a Johnny Quest character. Hey, you know, it's an attention getter, right? Yeah, Fungo Pop OU812. There we go. Need the shooter shade on your lenses. Yeah. Actually, these are these ones that I have on tonight. These are different. These take down the glare a little bit. They're blue light filters on it.
Yeah,
I've been finding that after I sit here for a while, you know, after a show, my eyes are kind of dry and sore. So trying out these and see if that helps out a little bit. Makes everything a little yellow, but it'll be worth it if my eyes don't get tired.
I have a couple of little pairs of those too, Ryan. I have the same ones that you have, the amber color. I have the blue, and I also have the purple and black.
Cool.
You have to try green. Green brightens up the mood. When I wear green lenses, sunglasses, man, I'm always smiling. I don't know what it is.
Just brings out the natural mood of you, huh? Let's see. Alonzo says, any one of you guys own a drop pedal? Does it change the quality of sound tone coming out of the amp? I do not. And the reason that I do not own one is because I can do this. Anyway, you get the point. I think that answered the question. How about you, R2, R3?
I tried the drop. No, I mean I used to have the Digitech whammy before I traded that in. I shouldn't have traded that in. I got rid of that pedal. Now I want to buy another Digitech because I really did like the detune setting on that whammy pedal. It had a nice detune setting. You put the pedal all the way back. It was nice, subtle. It sounded really good. But no, I know that dropped the drop.
There was one. It was called I think it was a Morpheus drop pedal that they used to have. I think that would drop all the strings as well. You had the Digitech that you could do. Yeah, I was just gonna say I know that Johnny has one. I know Janice had sent him one. I saw that on a show. That was super kind of you to gift that to him, Janice. That was really cool, and it sounded great. So no, I do not own a drop pedal, so I couldn't answer your question about changing the quality of the tone.
I don't own a drop pedal either. I just play an E standard. I play an E standard most of the time. It's the occasional time, even with getting the new detuna. I mean, I know I don't play in drop D too much, but like to have the option there. And like the only other pedal that I got that's anything major is the 505 Zoom, and the only thing that's in that is a pitch shifter.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't do quite the same.
No, it's kind of really the sound is kind of the pitch of the sound. The pitch shifter is kind of too high, so I don't even bother with that.
Gotcha. Keith says, have you all seen the new Peterson Stomp strobe LED? Multiple tuning settings for any type you want to input. Yeah, we were talking about it, last Thursday or maybe even Sunday. R2, R3 got his out. You're talking about the Peterson Stomp tuner. Yeah.
LED. Is it the same one? I hope unless they got a new one, I'll buy that one too. Talking about this one, Keith?
So that's the Strobo Stomp HD.
HD.
Maybe that's what he meant.
Okay. When he said LD, I'm like, wait.
Yeah. Or could be a new one out. Who knows? Yeah, I got to get me one of those. Those sound really, really cool.
Right there.
Very nice.
Green. Purple. Hey, matches your background there.
Right.
Red.
Yeah, he says yes, the HD. Yeah, I need to pick one of those up. Yeah, I hear you can have all these different kind of tunings. All the EVH settings are in there. Several hundreds of different types of tunings that you can have. That'd be pretty cool.
It says EVH in there.
Dan of New Jersey said Peterson was selling an anniversary edition, but pretty much the same thing. So what else is going on?
There it is. Sorry. It's flashing EVH.
Okay. Now, how do you tell the difference between all the different EVH tunings?
That's a good question, because that's the only one I see right there. It just flashes EVH under. So I gotta look. I have to look at the owner's manual. It's a rabbit hole to go in there. So I just use the regular guitar one. I have one set for. There's one in there for EMGs too, for EMG pickups. I don't know. I haven't messed with that yet. Interesting, yeah. So I was thinking about your Steinberg there, TransTrem. I'm like, EMGs. I have a couple guitars with EMGs. I don't know if it has to do something with the input of it. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. Really, really strange. Yeah, maybe an EMG pickup throws off a normal tuner for some reason. A couple cents off or something. So they've adjusted for that, calibrated. Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking.
William De Silva, welcome in. Finishing up his day at work and listening in. Want to say hello? Well, hello. Thank you for joining.
What's happening, man?
Yeah, you would think that there's. I mean, how many different tunings did Ed use? The only one that's really weird, like I was talking about earlier, is the Top Jimmy tuning. That was one that he just kind of made up on the fly for the song that he was humming in his head. So I don't know. Maybe there's many different ones.
One they're talking about here is when you're playing. I'm assuming here, Running with the Devil.
Oh, how he
how he flattened out certain strings so when he played those chords, they would sound in tune. But if you're to go play a C chord or a D chord, it would just sound completely off.
Right.
But when you're playing those chords, it would just sound right. And I think that's what this is supposed to do. Like I said, I haven't messed with it. I know Graphite Cigar says you need to hook up that thing up to the computer and download from the website. So there's other things you can do with this thing. I mean, this thing is like a brain box in here. It's beautiful. But just for the basic tuner, you have to get it. It is so accurate. Intonation is just can't beat it. Cannot beat it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to get one of those. Let's see. Yeah, he was saying hook it up and download. So I've been hearing that there's several hundreds of different tunings that you can put in that thing for whatever. Guitar Man 45. Hello,
What's
Ryan. R2 OU812. Sorry, a little late. Grandson had better. No, man, that's cool. Family first, right?
Nice. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Keith, that was our trivia question. I'm the one that got it right. So that's how I knew it, because like I said earlier.
This This is me typing in, and by the time I'm finished typing in the letter Y, I already look up at the screen, and Ryan has his answer up there. I'm like,
Top
okay,
Jimmy going up. Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know if you were in here,
Congratulations, man.
Keith, but, thanks. That Friedman T-type guitar I've got right there is actually tuned to a Top Jimmy tuning. So I had recently done that, so I kind of had a little advantage on that trivia question. So that was fun, though. Well, that was a pretty good question. I think, like I said, I had just
Not a lot of people know that.
I had done some research on that one and figured out the tuning because I had just recently done that guitar. So
to make the question harder is, what is the name of the guitar that he used?
Well, see, I followed up right underneath my answer with that.
I saw that.
A Kramer Ripley, which, if people don't know, had a Bartolini pickup in it, which isolated each individual string and sent it to an individual tone pot where you could sweep it back and forth in the stereo mix. You could put it all the way to the right or somewhere near the middle and then over to the left. And
I believe Johnny has one.
Yeah, you could separate each string with that Ripley guitar. Keith says he's going to have some good doozies for us. Okay, we'll be in there listening.
Now, Ryan, you do understand why Keith Campbell's on the panel, because he was in the chat and nobody can beat him.
Okay.
With the trivia questions. So what wound up happening is he became part of the panel. And of course, anybody who's on the panel cannot win the trivia questions.
Gotcha.
So it made the playing field a little bit easier. I love you, brother, man. I have nothing against you, but
you got to make it fair for everybody, huh?
The other fellow, man, we had some good players on there. We have Ed, we have Andy Carson, man, Jay Turner. I mean, there's some Van Halen freaks out there, unbelievable. So, Ryan, I give you a nice clap there for you to enter your answer in that trivia really quick there. And, what did you win? You win the 1984 stickers?
I think it was 1984. Were there some reflectors with that as well? I really honestly don't know.
Frankie reflectors.
Yeah. I saw that he was talking about what the prizes were, and I just kind of paid attention to what the question was. So I'm not really sure what's going to show up. So we'll see. Whatever it is, I'll be appreciative of it for sure. I'm sure it's something that I can use. Because that is one guitar that I don't have, is a 1984. So if I make one, I'll have the sticker. Yeah, he's saying those were some seriously smart boys that you just mentioned there, R2, R3. I'm a big Van Halen fan, but I honestly don't geek out on all of that information like a lot of people do. And, I think it's fascinating, all the facts that people can just rattle off, and I thought I was...
had the honor of hanging out with Keith on New Year's Eve on Fruitcake Tony's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And after we went, the show ended live, we were hanging out backstage for hours. And man, even on the show, after the show, I learned so much. Mm-hmm. Just when you think a lot of things about Van Halen, there's some just unique things that you learn about that you always wanted to know or didn't know, and it's amazing. Love hanging out with these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting to, find out, maybe there was a topic that you knew about, and then it's kind of off the wall or whatever, and then you hear something completely different that you had no idea that it had happened, or this fact that you didn't know anything about. And it's pretty cool to get that new stuff for sure. Let's see. Alonzo says, I'm a huge Van Halen fan too, but if it were to start a band, it would be metalcore or Christian rock. Okay. That's cool. Hey, as long as you're playing, right? Pick up that guitar.
Thank Alonzo for commenting on some of my videos there. because I play a lot of different styles: heavy, rock, metal, Van Halen, whatnot. And Alonzo has commented on some of my heavier stuff. So rock on, brother.
Cool.
What did you think about Marty Friedman and Budokan with Megadeth?
That was just, I love it, because when Rust in Peace came out, that was an awesome moment in my life. When that, I was going to say album, but I should say that when that CD came out, that was the greatest thing when I heard Marty Friedman play. Because I was following Marty even before that. I discovered him with him and Jason Becker with Cacophony. And when I found out he was going to be the guitar player for Megadeth, I was just, wow. And then the solos on that album were just, whoo. But anyways, yeah, the reunion, just to have him come back and play a couple of those songs were just phenomenal, because I love Metallica. I'm not going to rip on any of the Metallica fans, but I was a little disappointed with the new Metallica songs that they were putting out. But when Marty Friedman live at Budokan came out, that was great. And I think what was going on with that, I don't know if you guys know, I'll give you guys a little quick rundown, brief history story. Marty always wanted to play in Japan. You know, he's lived in Japan for so many years, but he always wanted to play when he was in Megadeth at Budokan, live at Budokan. What a dream to play at Budokan, right? And he was unable to. He pretty much quit the band before that happened. He couldn't play Budokan. I think they were supposed to play, and I don't know if Dave had a little relapse in his drug addiction at the time there, and that kind of ruined the show for him, and he was never ever able to play at Budokan. So I think this was something he was looking forward to, for him to go back out there. And I think he was wearing his cutoff sleeve flannel that he used to wear back in the 90s. And for him to play that Jackson Kelly, you can tell that was a custom shop Jackson Kelly he was playing up there with the one pickup. It wasn't a Kaler bridge. I know back then he was using the Kaler bridges. I'm not a big fan of the Kaler bridges, but
you know what Kalers are good for, right?
I was waiting for it, man. I never really liked the Kaler system, so I don't know what it was.
I had an old Charvel. Well, I say old. It was a couple years old when I got it back in the 80s. So yeah, it's old. It would be old now. Had a Kaler on it, and man, just every time you know, after a while of just using it, you would get this crunch, you know, this grinding of that Kaler. Had to rebuild it a couple of times. Got to where I couldn't find parts for it. I had to buy a Kaler for a different style guitar and then take the guts and put it in there. Just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I think that Jerry Cantrell likes the Kaler. He has those on his G&L Rampage guitars. I just never got along with them, but some guys like the way they feel. Let's see.
I never owned one myself. My guitar player and good friend of mine, Pete, he had one of those, and I remember I had my Jackson Floyd Rose and with the Schaller bridge, and he had that. I was just like, yeah, no, man.
Hit Metalwork said that the Red Kelly that he was playing looked great.
Yeah, it looks like a hardtail on it, like a Graph Tech on it, like the Gibson Les Paul style.
Yeah, and GNC says the smile on Marty's face when they first saw each other and hugged was so damn organic. Alonzo Kaler Bridges. Bleh. Well, what can you do? Some people like them, I guess.
It was fantastic, though, that it happened at what? They were saying something like 5 o'clock in the morning, like I guess, our time here, but it was late over in Japan when they took the stage in Budokan.
Mm.
And that morning that happened, like here, they're saying it's supposed to happen live. If you want to go on and see the stream, pay for the stream. 5 o'clock here in the morning. And it was only maybe like 10:30 in the morning. I was just spelunking through YouTube, and somebody had the whole entire thing uploaded to YouTube. I watched for 3/4 of it. I had to put it on pause. I had to step out for a little bit, maybe about 45 minutes, long enough to go grab a coffee or what,
Mm-hmm.
and come back. It was gone.
Oh, wow. Got taken down that
They
quick.
took it right down off YouTube.
I had to watch the whole
It was
thing
great.
right away because I know what's going to wind up happening. It was the same thing that happened when Wolfgang Van Halen was playing his dad's songs up on stage.
Mm.
It was a kind of his little tribute when they were playing with the Foo Fighters, and you had to watch that right away. I had a screenshot on my phone some of the videos so I can shoot it, WhatsApp it to my friends, and then I send them the link. A couple hours later, they're like, "What's this link go to? The video's taken down." I go, "What?" Click on it, it's gone. I'm like, "Are you kidding me, man? Come on."
Yeah.
I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was fantastic though, R2. When I come across that, I know it was happening, and I just, like I said, just for giggles, I just typed it in on YouTube, and the video come up, and it was a full video. I thought I was going to be able to see the whole thing, but before I watched the full video, I watched somebody had another clip up. It was just the 3 songs that Marty had did with Megadeth, and it sounded fantastic. I mean, Countdown to Extinction never sounded so great.
Goodness. Just the look on his face. He was so into it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn my microphone back up. I thought I had this guitar over here on the table, but I had to walk across the room and get it. I was getting uncomfortable holding that big guitar, so I changed to the itty bitty one. Stephen Franklin says back in the 80s, 1980, I had a high-end Hondo that had a Kaler. High-end for the 80s.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't know anything high-end on Hondo, man. I usually joke around and say that in the chat. I'll type in Hondo. Few folks understand what I'm getting at. But.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first brand guitars that I learned on. It was a Les Paul copy, and it actually wasn't half bad. It was a bolt-on neck, but for learning on it was great.
Right, from back then, yeah.
It looked cool too. So let's see. Ironic, Marty lives 10 minutes from the venue. Alonzo says, dude, I screen recorded one of the songs. Now those videos are gone. Yep. Dan Gorman says, my Kramer Beretta Special is in serious need of a Floyd or a Vega trim. The existing bridge is cheap. Yeah, just lube that nut and lube the bridge. You get pretty good use out of that.
And if you're finding the bar too hard to push in, take the back cavity out where the springs are and take out very carefully the center spring and just back off the 2 screws for the claw just a little bit, each one. What you do to one, you do to the other. And you'll find that bar, that'll loosen up for you just a little bit. Because I had the same problem with mine when I first bought it out of the box. And I plugged it in, I started playing it, and trying to push that bar down, it was like, but watching these videos, and again, I don't take no responsibility for what you do to your guitar. Watch the videos first on YouTube. There's a guy that's on there, it's Liquid Charlie from England. He had a blue Kramer Beretta. He did the same thing. That's where I got the idea when I heard it from him. And he was also saying about what is it I'm trying to say here? The capacitor in the volume pot. Don't do it if you don't know what you're doing, because you
Just
like
clip it out.
I don't want to mess up your guitar. But if you're having problems with your vibrato bar, the simple solution to that is, if you're finding it hard to push in, take the cover off for the cavity. Very, very easy. Take out the middle spring and just adjust those screws on that claw a little bit. Back them off just a little tiny bit to give it a little bit of play. You will notice if you do that, when you push the bar in, you look at the back of that trem, the back of that trem will raise just slightly. Don't go super hard on it. Just ease it in, ease it out, let it go, and walk. Let these do the talking.
Speaking of trims, it is TransTrem Thursday. I'm feeling
That's
like
right,
a couple
man.
more riffs. What do you guys think?
Do it to it. Man.
Got to remember these licks. All right, that felt great. TransTrem Thursday, you got to get some TransTrem riffs out, right? Is this thing on? You guys hear me?
In the chat here, got some individuals saying you sound. Alonzo saying Ryan is sounding like live without a net.
That is the goal, man. That is the ultimate goal. That is the tone that I've chased for a long, long time. And I think I've gotten pretty close. The EL34 5153 that I've got back there sounds a little bit closer, but I like the bite and the compression of the 5153 Stealth a little better. So I prefer to play that one.
You have the EL34s. I mean, EL34 too, right?
Yeah, got the original one right there, and then the one that I'm playing is the Stealth in the middle, and then the EL34 is back right there.
Yeah.
So got all three flavors. Actually been considering maybe selling a couple of them. I'm really, really digging that Stealth that much. And I think that if I want another flavor, maybe get a Friedman. I kind of am digging the, what is it? The BE50 Deluxe. It's supposed to be a 3-channel, with a Marshall-y kind of tone to it. So I'd really like to check one of those out. So
you have the JJ, right?
I've got the JJ and absolutely love it. So, the 50 watt, what is it? The BE50 Deluxe, I think, would be a pretty good fit. It's just the trouble of finding one to play one and see what you think. But, and they all sound different too when you play them, off at a store or something, you play it and then you bring it here and plug it in. It's going to sound completely different. But very honestly, anything that you plug into this rig with all that stuff on it, all that jape and the juice and the grease, it pretty much any amp sounds pretty good. Let me catch up here. Keith, sounding great. Thank you. Appreciate that. There's what you were talking about. Sounding like live without a net. Let's see. S. McMillan, welcome in. Sounds awesome. Thank you. Like the Kramer, got to get one. You talking about the Marietta special? Dan of New Jersey, nailed the tone. Alonzo, play Summer Nights. I could play a little bit of that. I always get a copyright strike when I play that one, though. That's my favorite part of the whole song, where he does the TransTrem drop there. That's just so badass sounding. Sorry.
That is.
Spot on tone. I try, man. I try to get it close. Janice says, sounds good. Thank you. Six Fingered says, I can never have too many tube amps. I have 300 watt and 3 at 120 watt. Wow. So you got a wall of sound, dude. I know we all saw the 3 that you had. I didn't know you had 3 more. That's awesome.
There you go.
What was this question about? Locking, is that for tonal quality?
Oh, yeah, I can see it here. Because I typed in the chat. Rob had some good suggestions of the tremolo, the springs in the back. I'll removing one, but you mentioned earlier before also having different tension springs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Some are light, medium. Effutone has them, and that's what Graphite Cigar says. Effutone has a set where they can have light, medium, heavy, depending on how you want the feel of the bar diving.
Yeah.
And I told them that, if you do get those noiseless, I'm sure he's talking about the noiseless springs that come coated.
Yeah.
I told him to take off the coating off where it connects to the claw and to the block, and he was asking me if it was for tonal reasons, quality, and
Oh,
I
I
said
see. Ground hum.
ground hum. Some individuals were talking about that when you use them, that was creating some kind of ground hum on it, and the suggestion was to just remove a little bit of the coating where it connects to the claw and the coating that connects to the block, and it's all gone.
Get a good ground. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alonzo says you probably get the copyright because it sounds exactly like the record. I appreciate that. I do my best. It sounds pretty close. I did the one video where I ripped the guitars out of the actual song and I put me playing over it. And it sounds pretty close, if I say so myself, until you get to the solo. And then I'm just like, I can't do what he's doing. So,
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll catch the replay still at work, says Mike as himself. Cool, man. All good. Let's see. Do you know the harmonics at the end of Summer Nights? I think that it's let's see. Something like that. Now you got me playing it again. I mean, how cool is that riff? I mean, come on. Take a look at what he's doing here.
Your mic. I think you got your mic muted.
Oh, I hit the button as I was turning up the lever there. Sorry. I was just saying I had to remember what that little diddly part was. It's been a long time since I've tried to play the whole song. But just that main riff in that song is just so simple but so cool. The rolling, hammer-ons that he does. I don't know. I just love playing that song.
It's that feel.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of backyard barbecues, swimming pools, and frisbees.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I think...
Zach Thon. What's up, bro?
Let's see. Six Fingered says 2 Valve Kings and a JCM 900. You definitely have an arsenal with plenty of backups, sounds like. Tim Thomas, the sound is on the money. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What's up,
Quick question from Alonzo. How could I get more sustain? Like when I play the Is This Love solo, the note dies quickly. Well, are you playing with what are you playing through? Are you playing like a modeler, or you got headphones on? What kind of pickup do you have? How close is the pickup to the strings?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
There's all kinds of different things that could...
Depends on what kind of amp you have or what kind of pedal you're using. And if you want to go the route of pickup wise, there is a single coil pickup you can get. It's a sustainer. You can get it. I think FU Tone features them as well. And if you want, it's usually a sustainer pickup like that is probably thrown in closer to here to hide it up a little bit, especially if you want to throw off that effect that you only have one double humbucker like this. They usually throw the sustainers up here.
Yeah, but who wants to install that? That's the whole man.
Mhm.
That installation process is.
Yeah, you got to.
I only know one company that has them stock, and that's Schecter. Schecter has
Mm-hmm.
a guitar that has the sustainer in there with
Yeah,
the
there's-
switches and everything.
There's so many different, things to look at. I mean, you may have a guitar that, some people will argue with me that tone woods don't matter, but, screw those people. No. You may just have a guitar that just does not have as much sustain as another guitar. It could be that you need to be playing in front of your amp and turn the volume up and get a little feedback off that amp and get it pushing those strings. Could be that your string height is really, really low, or your action is really low, and maybe as you're holding a note, maybe it's possibly fretting out as you're bending or something like that. Just so many different things that can be causing that. So that's kind of
maybe holding the note too close to the fret wire.
Yeah, no telling.
There's a lot of controversy when I say it, and I don't care. I know I have two guitars. Both of my Jacksons that I own are neck throughs, and both of those guitars that are neck throughs, they'll sustain forever.
Mm-hmm.
My tube amp, I'll hold a note, and it'll just ring and sustain. The feedback goes through, and I just do the little tremolo bar thing where I'm just shaking a little bit, and it just carries on.
Yep.
My other guitars, I mean, they play great, they sustain, but nothing like those two guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there could be the pickups, there could be the EMGs that are in them. I think it's the actual neck through.
Yep.
That just because it's one piece, it just holds and sustains.
Something else that you can check is to make sure that your pickups aren't too close to your string, because they are magnets. So as your string is, vibrating, if it's right close to the pickup, that pickup magnet is going to stop it. So that's something else that it could be. So lots of different things to look at.
Alonzo says he's playing a Wolfgang standard. Now, my standard that I have, great sounding pickups on it for being a standard. A lot crunchier than my made in Japan and USA.
Mm-hmm.
Higher. I know it sounds strange. The USA one pickups that I have in my Wolfgangs have a little bit more clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I know why. Just because the pickup is.
Your mic keeps dropping out.
Oh, is it doing that again?
I mean, we have you now, but you're. It's almost like you have a noise gate set too high or something, and it keeps cutting you off.
Yeah,
no.
Wolfgang.
Nope. There you go. And now you're gone again. Technical difficulties. Let me catch up in the chat a little bit here.
Yeah.
Zach Thong, good to see you. Saying hello to myself, R2R3, and Rob. Good to see you, Zach. Let's see. Anybody else sneak in? Yeah, Keith is saying a Sustainiac pickup. And I think that's what's in this other guitar I was just playing. No, this says Fernandez, or it doesn't say Fernandez, but it says Sustainer. So I'm pretty sure it's a Fernandez. It's kind of cool, it's a different thing, but it doesn't feel as natural, as natural sustain from a guitar and an amp, kind of working with each other, the amp pushing the strings and whatnot. But it's kind of cool.
I know my /AFD, it sustains like anything.
Yeah.
I don't have to do very much with that, and you can hold the note in, and it'll ring on forever.
Got some good wood.
Yep.
Oh, I see where he's saying there. Wolfgang Standard Graphite and Cigar says his carving is a neck through, and it also sustains for days. A lot to be said about all the wood that connects and all the pieces. You know, you got a Floyd, if it's deck mounted, you get all that transfer and resonance. So, you know, that's something else. Some of the Wolfgang Standards have a Floyd that sits up a bit. You know, it's not decked. So that could be something going on as well. What's going on, MPN? Good to see you. R2, R3's back.
All right.
Maybe. Yeah, we got you now.
There we go.
Got a question from Gunnerman. Sorry, Guitar Man 45. There's another, you know, I think it's Gunnerman 40 something or 42 or something.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I always get those names mixed up, and my brain just started to say that one. So sorry, Guitar Man 45. It says, are the EVH Wolfgang Special good guitars? I do not have any EVH at all. You've got several there, R2, R3. I'll let you.
Well, I have my specials made in Japan. So they have the USA made EVH Wolfgang pickups, which are supposed to be like the USA ones that are stock on there. There's some individuals that say they can't tell the difference. I can tell the difference.
I can as well.
Yeah, it has a different kind of punch and clarity to it. But what I was saying before with the standards is that when you said the height, I noticed on the standard the pickup height, and you can't adjust them. They're decked into the body of the guitar, and they're really close to the strings. So you start hearing, you can actually hear this little warble on it because you can hear the magnet just pulling.
Yep. Killing your sustain. Yeah, look, you can see his neck pickup there. You can see how low that is as far as the fretboard. So that looks like that's pretty close.
But that's the way Eddie liked them.
Yeah. Well, you know, and he was cranking, you know, 100-watt head, you know, on stage or in his studio. I'm sure he was getting that air pushing against the strings and keeping them vibrating. So,
oh yeah,
you know, there's no problem with keeping the sustain on that type of situation. Alonzo says sustainer Phil Collin had in his guitar sounds insane. I wish I could afford that Jackson. It's gorgeous. And it sounds amazing too, he says.
Oh yeah. Now he's using necks that are like baseball bats, from my understanding. Really thick necks.
What, like if you pick up a Les Paul guitar, what kind of neck do you like on that? Speaking of fat necks.
Yeah, see, all my guitars are pretty much Jackson, Charvel. The only, let's see, my Dean, I have a Dean Custom Shop dime, which is V-shaped. That's a little getting used to because it has like a V-shaped backing, which is kind of nice when they're holding it in different positions. But they're average size C, thin, wide. My USA Fender Stratocaster has a little bit of a girth to it, thickness to it. But the Les Paul Classic that I have, the 2018 one, that's it almost has an EVH kind of feel to it.
Kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's thin and it's ergonomic, and that's why I think I was drawn to that guitar because it feels comfortable in my hands. It's not thick.
I went and played I think it was was it an SG or a Les Paul? It must have been a Les Paul. And it was like a 59 copy or a reissue or whatever those are. And was it a 58 or 59? I can't remember.
Those are thick.
But yeah, I started playing. I was like, man, this thing is huge. What a fat neck. But man, the resonance that you could get
Oh yeah.
out of that neck. And then once you get to playing it for a little while, you
get
kind of
used
get
to it.
used to it. Yeah. And then you go back to a smaller guitar and you're like, oh man, this is tiny. But that's kind of where I was going because, we were talking about the resonance of guitars. And I've a lot of times found that those guitars with those fat necks just really, really, they vibrate and they've got that resonance going on.
And I think that's where Phil Collins from Def Leppard, he went back to that route of
Yep.
going with those thick neck baseball bat Jacksons.
Yep. Dan Gorman says, hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, let's get some thumbs up. How many we got? We got 18. We've got, let's see, refresh here. We got 28 watching, so we need 10 more thumbs up, everybody in here. That'd be cool. Appreciate it.
There we go. Yeah, hit the thumbs up.
Well, Dan, if you're watching, what I'd suggest you to do with the Kramer Beretta, you got it here? This is not even the bar that comes with it. I had a spare bar floating around, and all I did was pull off the little white on the bottom. Like, that's as far as it'll go. But what I was mentioning earlier about taking out that center spring is if you're pushing in on it, it will raise up a little bit. I don't know if you'll see it raise because this has got a new set of strings on it. Might be a little more tension on it now. But you see that slight little bit of raise?
Yeah.
You don't want something where you're going to push right in. Like, you don't want something where you're going to push in and the power comes down here where my finger's at. Because that'll drop all of your strings. You got to be careful too. So Ryan was mentioning something about the way the magnets in the pickup will, if the strings get too close to the pickup, it will stick to the pickup. If you watch Van Halen's Human Beings music video, coming on to the end, and you hear that, or the solo from Balance. The solo song from Balance, Delirium, coming on to the end, and you hear that high pitched noise squeal. When you see Eddie stand there and he has his hand grabbing the bar, that's where the noise comes from. You see Eddie stand there and he grabs the bar and he's like this, you got to have a little bit of a callus or a little bit of a fingernail on this finger. And it starts right here in the middle of that humbucker and back this way. It's like doing a pick scrape with your fingernail or the callus. And you probably can't hear now. And Eddie's slightly doing this at the same time, just with the tips of his fingers. And that high pitch down is coming from the string trying to stick to the magnet, but you're vibrating it at the same time, taking it away. It's almost like a hammer-on puller. It sounds like that creaky metal sound that's coming. It's at the end of that Delirium solo. That's how Eddie does it. He's up, volume all the way up, and master volume up if you have it on. If you want to try that out, it's not too hard. I figured that out early on. It just, like Eddie said, it came from somewhere and came through me.
Where does it all come from? That's cool. I was, right before you started talking, Rob, I started laughing, and it was because I looked in the chat and I saw Janice's comment, and for whatever reason I read it, and immediately it just made me laugh. I didn't expect to see Janice type that. It was funny. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I think you should get a bar like this.
Anybody want to go fishing?
You got him all slowed down and everything. That's awesome. Everybody remember that Laz is going on in just a bit at about 45 minutes from now. So let me catch up with everybody here in the chat. Let's see. Six Fingered says Gibson Slim 60 profile. I'm assuming that's what you prefer on a Gibson style guitar. Let's see.
Yeah.
Janice again. He said girth. I just hear Beavis and Butthead laughing when I read that. He said girth. So it's pretty much that's what he said joke there. Hey, Janice.
Yeah.
Let's see. R2, R3 locking, you are getting a package in the mail. U812, you are getting a package in the mail. Awesome. Patty.
You're getting a package in the mail.
And you'll be getting a package, yep. Yeah, we got, I got your information, Patty, so I'll be going to the mailbox this weekend.
Yeah. Patty just let me know today she did receive the tuner for Donald Young.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Very cool. Patty is awesome. We appreciate you, Patty.
Thank you, Patty.
Let's see. Alonzo says the video you were talking about, I guess Rob, Ed broke a string in that video. Dan says his guitar always goes out of tune when I use the bar. If it's the Beretta Special you're talking about, like I said, I can't find my. Just loosen up the strings, put you some type of nut sauce, or I use chapstick in the nut itself.
Slot,
wipe the excess off, put the strings back in. Sometimes people will do it on the bridge as well. Just lift up and put a little bit there where the string contacts. And
even two, Dan.
you know, sometimes when you hit the bar, you'll hear it go clink.
Yeah.
That's where it's scraping on the nut or catching on the nut. Sometimes you can smooth the nut out a little bit, but you can get those guitars to stay in tune pretty well with a little bit of maintenance to them, a little bit of lube, yeah, I mean, they'll be really, really good as far as staying in tune.
The chat's going a little crazy here with the girth and the nut sauce.
That's fine.
Even two, Dan. Make sure your nuts are tight.
Hey now.
Got to keep the nuts tight. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. Janice says, oh my God, what have we started? You started it, Janice. You started it. So that comment that you made. Oh, she says she always quotes Beavis and Butthead. So there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, he said girth. I got to get me a Beavis and Butthead soundbite now. It's been her thing for years, she says. So that's funny. Alonzo talking about the nut sauce. Yep. Says he used graphite and it worked fine. Some people actually, excuse me, take some pencil lead and they'll shave a little bit and drop it down in there. You can do stuff to get that guitar to stay in tune for sure.
Yeah,
Graphite.
they are a little bit hard to keep in tune, but it's nothing major.
Papermate Murado Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Real graphite lead penciler.
Yep. A couple little shavings of that. That'll help keep it sliding around. MPN 5150. This is girth, nut sauce, and lube.
I'm telling you, it's wonderful to be a guitar player.
That's going to be the name of the first single that comes out from us three.
Dan says, yeah, I was thinking the graphite. Yeah. Like I said, I think that you've got the same purple one that I have, I think. And like I said, I just lube that thing up and it stays in tune pretty nicely. It seems like the G string is the one that's always the trouble. But
see,
so here we're talking
G-string.
about G strings and nut sauce and lube and girth. Man, nobody be clipping any of this now. We don't need that.
I'm on the show.
Yeah. So,
You
well,
guys
looks
are
like I
figuring
have
it out.
caught up on the chat. Nobody has anything else? No questions?
That's going to be
Yeah.
on a summertime LP. It's going to be, the first single off that one is going to be G-string.
Yeah. Why does it always go out of tune? That's the thing.
I don't know. Well, gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Laz will be on soon, so I got to get a few things done before I tune in to watch his craziness. No telling what we're gonna see on his show. If he breaks out that albatross pedal, though, got to get rid of that thing somehow.
I'm glad to see Fernando's alive.
Yeah, I was really pleased to see him get that back together. I'm sure he's got some stuff that he'll need to do to it to get it perfect. But
we need the 5150 back together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You know how people have epilepsy and they're very, very sensitive to flashing lights?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you guys think that maybe when he plays that pedal, it's supposed to make bird sounds? Do you think maybe Lamone's ears are sensitive? Think about it, Laz. You don't want the bird going down.
Yeah, you might be doing damage to your bird, Laz, so you got to be careful with that thing.
Yeah, let's just hope he doesn't break out that pedal again.
We can only hope, right? We can dream.
We don't want to do an experiment here.
All right, so everybody in the chat, thanks for joining in. Let me see if there's any last minute comments that I need to catch up on. Let's see. Hit Metalworks. He says he used a pencil for decades now and it works great. So any kind of lube you can find for that nut, man. Let's see. Michael did good with the clipping yesterday. Zach Thong, see you later, dude. Six Fingered Assault. Clip, clip, clip. Keith says, fun hang, boys and girls. Remember to keep your G-string in its place. Absolutely. Everybody saying goodnight to everybody. Riffs are nasty, man. Thank you. I'll try to keep them coming. We'll see you later 6. Janice, good show. Thank you. Dan is appreciative of the input. Use at your own risk. We make no guarantees, but most of that stuff works for us, so hopefully it works for you.
That's right.
Love the risks. Thank you. See you, Guitar Man 45. Slide it to one side for one reason only. There we go.
That's what she said.
Another great show.
Woo! Mr. Mick.
Thank you, Mr. Mick.
Thank you.
So, Rob Blackmore Official, thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
You're very
R2,
welcome.
R3, I appreciate you jumping in. Man, you had me worried there for a minute. I thought I was going to be all alone tonight. But that's okay.
That's why I sent you a quick. I don't know if you got my email.
I got it just a few minutes ago.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
You showed up, and I was like, whew.
That's why I go. Let me type something in the chat real quick, just so I got. Hey, everyone.
That was all good. No, I was going to be playing some riffs all night if nobody showed up. So, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out. We had a lot of people come in, show up, and hang out with us. I'm surprised you stayed as long as you did, so thank you. Probably next show will be on Sunday. Again, just hanging out, chatting, seeing what's up. I don't think I have any mods to do on any guitars, so we'll just jam out and have a chat and see everybody then. So
we should do an unplugged Sunday.
It's funny you say that because I was actually thinking of doing that this Sunday. I was just trying to come up with some kind of slick name for it. So I was thinking of, what was it I thought of earlier? It was Subdued Sunday. Subdued Sunday chat and jam. So maybe we'll do some acoustic stuff this Sunday and kind of step it back a little bit. So
because you made me break out my my 12 string right over there.
Yeah, we won't tell people what you're working on, but how's that going so far?
So far, so good, man.
Good.
Good.
I'm anxious to hear that short. R2, R3 is going to have a short coming out pretty soon of one of my all-time favorite songs. So everybody be watching for that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to put one out every day. You know, I keep running out of stuff to play. I'm like, man, what am I going to come up with now? And then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh yeah, I know this one. So trying to keep that content coming, keeping the tones coming out there. So trying to get a short out every day.
Awesome.
Again, thank you to everybody in the chat for coming out. Hope to see everybody Sunday. And until then, see ya.
Rock on, everybody.